Welcome to Bring It Out TV. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but it's your brother Eleazar from the Maccabees, man. All praise and glory, honor go to the Most High God, man. Sorry for the late arrival, man. Been having some technical difficulties, man. So if y'all brothers and sisters are still waiting, man, I done put it in the chat, man. I done put the link in the chat. Brothers and sisters, y'all come on. I'm going to go ahead and get this party started through the spirit of Yahweh Washem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatham. All praises, glory and honor go to the Most High God. Hope y'all brothers and sisters been having a wonderful day, man. Shabbat Shalom for all the brothers and sisters that keep the Shabbat from Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown. There's been a lot going on in Israel and the world in large, the IUIC and Pastor Jennings been going back and forth with some debates, and so yeah, we wanted to get it in. So without further ado, all praise and glory, honor go to the Most High God, man. Shalom, brother Phineas.
Shabbat shalom, brother.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
And you know that spirit had me on the ropes, man, but I had to rope it, dope it off it, brother. I had to dope it off me, brother. Man, I was having some technical difficulties on this side, brother.
Yeah, you had to hit me later, man. Hit me the bar. Let me know how you figured that thing out.
Hey, man, YouTube is our best friend, brother. Like you say, man. Like you say that these other nations are best allies, brother.
Yes, sir. Greatest enemies, greatest allies.
Oh, Shalaki, hold on for 1 second, brother. Shalaki, brother, trying to send a link to the chat, man. I thought I was gonna have to cancel, man, but the Most High rope dope that thing back to life, man. All praise and glory and honor go with the Most High God, man.
Con.
How you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good, dog. Like I said, I ain't complaining.
Yeah, kind. All praise like that, like they say back in the days, man. Ain't nobody listening.
I'm telling
Ain't nobody listening, brother.
you, nobody.
Yeah, man. So we going into is Yahweh races, man. We have our brother Gino Jennings clip on him and the things that he was saying, and then IUIC on their behalf. You know how they perceive the scriptures with Christ being black. And yeah, man, is it a problem, man? Is that problem? That's a problematic doctrine, man. Is it problematic that we hearken on the color of Christ as the disciples on hopping on the prophets, Moses, etc. God, Yahweh Himself being black? Is that a problematic doctrine?
Um, really, no. We need to know who Israel is.
Okay.
Regardless, Israel is of significant importance when it comes to the text and the things that are promised to these individuals, whether you think it's us or not. They are significantly important, so it's important to know who they are. But on the other end, I can see, where somebody could say, well, man, that's all y'all talk about, man. Y'all talk about that dust. Y'all don't want to talk about that dust, but Jesus being black and da 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 da. But if that is true, You need to know who these people are. You need, and then I had, I think a couple classes ago, man, was showing. Well, I might have put it on for, I don't know. I be posting stuff so many places that the church had gave them jokers $5 million for Passover, man. Christian church gave who they considered to be the Jews $5 million to celebrate their Passover.
Right,
So so evidently the church, even most of the church thinks that those people are important, but it's only a problem because we saying it's us.
okay,
Uh, that's where the problem comes in, and that's why I get on people's nerves.
right,
And so and I don't think people will too much heavily disagree and just say, well, those are the people. Or usually that conversation ends in, well, no, we know he wasn't white, but he was, olive color, or he was da 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 da. But they'll say, okay, well, I know the people was, back in those times weren't that color or they weren't that position. But that's about as far as a lot of times the conversation goes.
right.
So it's a problematic doctrine for those who want to fight against it, those who want to stay blind. But you need to know the truth, man. It's important to know who Israel is. Just point blank.
Yeah, kind. And that's some of the things that we gonna go into, man. I got a couple of videos lined up on both perspective. And then we gonna go into the scriptures and why. And I agree with you why it's important to know who Israel is, because is it salvation for the Gentiles without Israel? I'm asking, Brother
Nah,
Finney.
is it salvation without Israel?
Right, for
Like,
the
I don't think
Gentiles.
you don't have the text. Like, you don't have the text without Israel.
Right,
Um, and it was Israel what Israel did to allow the Gentiles to actually receive that salvation. So yeah, they gotta cleave to Israel. That's how this thing written out if you believe the text.
yeah, kind. Shalom, brother Michael. Shalom, brother. Shabbat shalom, brother.
Hey, shalom, family. How's everybody?
Shalom out.
All right.
Everything good with you, man. Everything good. Everything good. So yeah, brother Michael, we going into is Yahweh racist, man. And sometimes I think etymology of words get us tripped up. You know what I mean? I think that sometimes when we look at um, shalom, brother, brother Yakanan, man, shalom, brother. And sometimes etymology of words get us tripped up. We know racism what it is in the 21st century, but in the first century, Jews, Israel, they wasn't dealing with that. Well, they was dealing with it, but not from the aspect we dealing with it now. You know what I mean? So, what do you think, brother Michael, man? What do you think about do Israel hearken on it too much? The color of Christ, the color skin thing. IUIC is at the forefront of that skin doctrine. That's what they call it, man. The skin doctrine, right? So they're at the forefront of the skin doctrine. Christ is black, the angels are black, the Yahweh is black, right? That CB4 movie. I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm black and I'm black and I'm black, y'all.
You're right.
So we go into Song of Solomon 1-5. We go into Job 30 and 30. We go into come on, man. We know the precepts, right? So what do you think, man? Do we hearken too much on the skin color of Christ and not the spirit of Christ? What says you, brother Michael?
Well, it's written up. God's word ain't gonna come back void, man. In scripture, it is what it is. People can get upset, but it's funny that no one ever got mad over the white image over hundreds and hundreds of years, man. But now that the truth is here, that the Most High and Christ was black, that scripture, it's a problem now. What does it matter? It matters a lot, man. The scriptures say, man, if you don't believe he came in the flesh, that antichrist. So if he came in the flesh, what color was it? It is what it is. Man. So now I don't think that they beating it to the ground like that, but it is what it is, man. At the end of the day.
Shalom, brother Dion. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah. Shabbat shalom, brother.
Shalom, Matt. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah. Shalom, fellas.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom, brother.
Yeah, you got to stock it on your head, Akim. All praises, all praises. Hey, so the try to get the waves going, man. Try to get the seasick going on, brother. Hey, brother Dion, man. The question I'm asking the same question, brother. The topic is Yahweh racist? IUIC is at the forefront of the skin doctrine, that Christ is black, the angels are black, Yahweh is black. So what do you think? Do we hearken on it too much, the skin color Christ?
Well, I think it needs to be brought out for truth's sake. But in the beginning, I believe he was until we rejected Christ.
Okay.
And then it sort of changed a little bit, but it's never been about color. It's always been about, your race or your lineage. So it's really not about. I don't think color plays a role in it. I think it's a race-based situation. But like I said at first, initially I think the Most High was being racist, but when we rejected Christ, he had to teach us a lesson by bringing in the Gentiles and just bringing us jealousy, and now a remnant of them will be saved. So initially, I think he was, but I think that sort of changed.
Yeah,
I know it says that the Lord don't change, but we brought about that change.
Okay.
That's
So
my opinion.
that's your opinion. All praises. So when the Most High punished the Egyptians, right? When we came out of Egypt, and the Most High punished the Egyptians looked like us, Karen. And judgment went forth. It wasn't about skin, right?
No.
Right. It never has been about skin. So let's go over a couple of precepts of why the Most High chose Israel, and it had nothing to do with skin. Let's get that real quick in Genesis. Let's go to Genesis 12 and verse 1. Let's start there. Genesis 12 and 1, and then we're gonna get Deuteronomy 7 and verse 1, and we're just gonna go into a couple of precepts, but then we're gonna go into this and go into the videos of why God chose Israel from the beginning, right? So let's go to Genesis 12 and verse 1.
It's the book of Genesis.
Read down to verse 5.
God. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1. You say, now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy family's house, unto the land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And all these shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came.
Okay, so the Most High said that Abraham's seed was going to receive this blessing, and through his seed all nations was going to be blessed, right? So the promise went to Abraham, right, and his lineage, right? So he didn't choose Abraham because Abraham was black. he chose Abraham because Abraham was faithful, right? It was because his faithfulness, right? Because Abraham was faithful to the Most High God. So, and he took another black nation and moved them out of the land of Canaan for Israel, right? He took another black nation. The Canaanites was Hamites, right? Right? The land of, so he took another black nation and moved them out of Canaan for Israel. So it had nothing to do with skin tone. It was Israel was the chosen seed, but Israel was that seed that he chosen to be this light to these nations. So give me that other precept, Deuteronomy 7 and verse 1.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1.
Uh,
When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters shall not that thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters thou take unto thy son. For
Khan, the
they
water. Shalakit, the water. So when you see that these nations that the Most High went, when you look at the Hittites, the Gergesites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations, those were primarily dark-skinned nations. Right? So it had nothing to do with skin tone. Right? The Most High didn't chose us because we was black, right? So he had nothing to do with us being black. So what do y'all think about that? I yield on that. We're gonna get into the videos. What do y'all think?
I think that we mostly when we're bringing out the stance on the skin color, it's still a stance on just who the people are, why we could possibly be the people.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily on the basis of, well, he chose us because we were black, but we saying it to try to prove that, yeah, we are the people. Like, this is another stance. Okay, you see the prophecies here, but also those people were of color, and it's just a stance on that we are the people. And once you establish that, then you go into the other stuff, but you don't have to go into that. You could first go into just understanding, what I'm saying, the blood of Christ, death, burial, resurrection, so forth. And do you understand? I know the last camp I did, man, a brother pulled up on me, and he was commending me on being out there and so forth and bringing the truth. And when he said that truth, my brain, and so I said, "Oh, brother, you an Israelite?" He's like, "Nah, I don't want to talk about that, but I don't want to get into that, but man, I commend you, brother, for bringing out the truth." He pointed at the sign I got about the dietary law. He pointed at that and said, "Yeah, man, people don't know that. See, people be, man, all praise you bringing the thing out, man." And so I left it at that. I didn't try to beat them down with, if you need to know, and because I said, man, spirit got to bear witness. I ain't gonna fight with nobody. Like, for me now, I don't fight like I used to fight.
Yeah, okay.
About trying to push that on people. Hey, man, the information is there. If you want the information, if it's registering with your spirit, then hey, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I think it's more of a bit a basis on us still trying to prove, hey, that we are the people. Look at this right here. Christ was black. Man, I yield.
Yeah, okay. And then see, that's what we having this dialogue about, right? is to really speak on both halves why we teach what we teach, right? It's no, we understand that the spirit bear records, right? And so we're gonna get into a couple of videos, and I want to get y'all opinion on the videos. Then we're gonna get into the scriptures, right? Let me start off with, hold on, let me share my screen real quick. Let me share my screen. Let's get into Geno Jennings. I'm gonna get into Geno Jennings real quick. Y'all brace yourself, brothers. Brace yourself, because it get a little dicey, but these things must need to be talked about. Let me get it real quick. Brother Geno Jennings in. Let's start right there. Here go our brother Geno Jennings.
This shows you how strong the gospel is, where religion will come and encircle the entire church. You could have yelled all day, but these walls of Jericho would never come down. The Bible is not designed to cater to nobody's color.
Look at all the people in there,
Who
man.
cares how black you are? In the 30s, in the 20s, in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, the Ku Klux Klan had the same cheap, weak, frail teaching. They called themselves white Christians. Burning crosses. Their uniforms, white sheets, white pillowcases. And their bigot belief, all heaven would be white, and black folk had no chance of being saved. The Hebrew Israelites come with the same thing, that Jesus died only for people of color, and all white folk are lost.
Now, Shalakia. So I want to deal with that topic right there, and now we're gonna go about to do some other points, but I want to deal with that topic. He said that we teaches that Jesus only died for black folks, right? Is that's one of our doctrines? Do we teach that Jesus only died for black folks?
Nope.
No, no. If you said people of color, you might say, if you said people of color, as a whole, I'm not just speaking for what I believe in, but as Israel as a whole, yeah, man, he only died for people of color. He only died for Israel.
Okay. And so when we say that he died for black folks, we got when he said that we teach that that Jesus died only for black folks. It's problematic because the so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native American of Negro descent is not the only black people in the world, man. Right? You got other black folks. You got Hamites, East Indian men. You got other black folks out here that we don't teach that Christ came to die for. Now, to say that Christ came to die for Israel and salvation is two different things. And that's what I'm saying. I think we kind of lump everything together and we really don't get a clear understanding of what all this stuff means. What do y'all brothers think, man? Do we teach that Christ only died for black folks? Brother Dion or Brother Michael?
I don't. I don't believe that. I believe that Christ only came for Israel. Um, but like I said before, it seems to get a little diluted because most Israel are black folks or so-called black folks. So when you're looking from the outside in, that's what you get, because we still use the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, so-called Native American Indians, and Seminole Indians. But when you really want to prove something, you will say how dark a person is, it says like he burned in a furnace. So they will refer to that and equate that with blackness. So in that instance, that's what if you don't break it down properly, that's what the people will get. But we know from in Israel that it's from that the Christ came for Israel. So I mean, it's a big difference, but you have to make sure you break it down properly. Man, there's some camp and Shalakia, some camps, I have seen some videos where a white person can't even walk up to the camp. They will chomp them off like this is not for you. So that's just based off their color. They don't see if the spirit bears witness or not. They just blatantly, give him no respect, no regard, whether they know the scripture or not, or whether they are even believing in the Most High or Christ. So I think a lot of camps are going off with that, but I guess with some time and some understanding, they'll change their ways. Most High will.
Okay. What you think, brother Mike?
Well, I think that was a false statement that Gino made. First of all, anybody who teaching that Christ died for black people only, that's a false statement. It tells you in the scripture, Ephraim is a cake not turned. So you got a variety of colors, like it say, the Most High created us from the dust of the ground. You got dark and you got shades, man, of different colors. So it always go back to the you are what your father is, man, pedigree. So isn't saying that we only teach that salvation for black people only. Yeah, that's a false statement within itself.
Yeah, kind. And so I heard a brother say that Christ only died for Israel, and that's what the text says, right? Like the text says that. That's not what black Hebrew Israelites saying. That's just what the text says. So we're gonna get into a couple of scriptures that support that ideology that Christ only died for Israel, right? So let's get real quick. Let's get that in Matthew's. Let's go to Matthew's 15 and 24. Let's that one first. Matthew's 24 through 28. And one of y'all brothers give me Mark 7 and 25 through 29. So let's get it in the text.
I get the Mark 7.
Mark 7, 25 through 29.
Come.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 15, starting at verse 24.
Okay.
You say, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs. And she said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith, be unto thee as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour.
Right. So Yahushua was making a distinction, right? He said that, look, man, that it's not meat to get a children bread unto dogs, right? So who is this children referring to? He referring to the children of Israel, right? So it says not meat to get a children bread and cast it into dogs. And then she said, true, Lord, right? Because she understood that the bread belongs to the children of Israel. and what a lot of Christians don't get. Like Brother Phoenix said, whether you don't think we are the people, you better find out who these people are, because they um they are solely responsible for your salvation. The only way that you're gonna be able to get into the kingdom is through the children of Israel. If you don't understand who these people are, then you have no shot at getting into the kingdom. So give me that Mark 7:25.
It's the book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 25.
Okay.
For a certain woman whose young daughter had a certain unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But the Messiah said unto her, let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. And she answered and said unto him, yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. And he said unto her, for this saying, go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter.
See that? So that's two witnesses saying that the children must be felt first, or the children must be fed first, right? Let the children eat first. Who are these children? The children of Israel. The children of Israel must be fed first, which is your so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. According to prophecies, according to archaeological, it's too much evidence to say that, and Geno Jennings said a lot of things. We're gonna go into a couple. I'm not gonna harken too much on Geno, but there's a couple of things that he said that I had to point out. Let me get that Acts 13-16, because a lot of people say, well, Paul was the apostle for the Gentiles. That was his office, right? And we always go over who these Gentiles was, and I think that what's problematic is the Gentiles was a few people, not just a people, right? You had natural Gentiles was outside of Israel. You also had Southern Kingdom who fell into Gentile custom. You also had Northern Kingdom. That's why you'll see Gentiles as it plays to the Southern Kingdom. You'll see Gentiles as it plays to the natural Gentiles, and as it plays to the Northern Kingdom in Romans 9:26. And he was quoting Hosea 1:10. So you will see natural Gentiles, Northern Kingdom, and Southern Kingdom called Gentiles, right? So let's get that in Acts 13, verse 16, and let's get out of Paul's mouth, because Paul gonna tell you the same thing that Christ said, who Christ was sent for. So let's get that in Acts 13-26. Acts 13:16-26.
Shalakia,
Go ahead.
just on that last point with the Syrophoenician woman,
Mm-hmm.
with her understanding that he said, with that saying,
Right.
with that, with you saying that, just because you said that, just because of the humility that you have in understanding that these folks got to be fed first, man, your daughter healed, man.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important, and that's why you can't brag against the natural branches, because that can hinder your blessings. That can hinder your blessings. You gotta be humble. We all gotta be humble, but you definitely gotta be humble. As a natural Gentile also.
And bro, I got that highlighted. I got that underlined, right? For this saying, man, how humility works patience, man. And that's exactly right, man. I got that highlighted, brother. So great point, man. So let's get that in Acts 13. You finished, brother?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get that in Acts 13-16. Let's get out of Paul's mouth.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 16. Then Paul stood up and beckoning with his hand said, men of Israel, and ye that fear God, give audience. The God of this people of Israel chose our father, and exalted the people when they dwelt as strangers in the land of Egypt. And with a high arm brought he them out of it. And about the time of 40 years suffered he their manners in the wilderness. And when he had destroyed 7 nations in the land of Canaan, he divided their land to them by lot. And after that, he gave unto them judges about the space of 450 years until Samuel the prophet. And afterward, they desired a king. And God gave unto them Saul, the son of Cis, a man of the tribe of Benjamin, by the space of 40 years. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony, and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. Of this seed, of this man's seed, how God, according to his promise, raised unto Israel a Savior, Jesus. When John had first preached before his coming the baptism of repentance to all the people of Israel. And as John fulfilled his course, he said, whom think ye that I am? I am not he, but behold, there cometh one after me, whose shoes of his feet I am not worthy to loose. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among you fear of God, to you is the word of this salvation sent. Selah.
Okay. So it's a couple of things that Brother Paul was getting into when he said right here at verse 25, you know, it caught my attention. It says, and as John fulfilled his course, he said, whom think ye that I am not he, but behold, there come one after me, whose shoes of his feet I am not worthy to loose, right? And so when you go to verse 24, it said, and when John had first preached before his coming the baptism of repentance to all the people of Israel. And see, so that's what we got to understand. John was only preaching even water baptism to Israel. He was preaching to all Israel, Christ's sake coming. He wasn't even going into these other nations, man. Right? So I'm gonna get another precept on that, right? So we can establish how important it is to know who the children of Israel is, right? So I'm gonna get another precept, man. This is the book of Malachi 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. The book of Malachi 3 and 1. And it says, behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delighted in. Behold, he shall come, said the Lord of hosts. So it was already prophesied that John the Baptist was going to come and prepare the way for Christ. But who he was going to come to? All the people of the children of Israel. So as a Christian, it's very important you to know who these people are. Right? Because Christ did not come for everybody. He came for the children of Israel.
Good.
Right? Christ was given to the children of Israel, and the children of Israel was given to the nations, man. Right? So we got to understand that. We got to understand that. So let's get back into Geno Jennings video.
Now I have a very interesting question. To all black historians who have any knowledge of slavery, according to history, people of color was kidnapped from Africa, brought to Europe and also to America, sold like livestock. And whatever bigot purchased you, he purchased you with the attitude you was nothing but like a horse, an ox. You were property. To identify his property, he or she took the name of its master. I want you to follow me good. Then your enslaved master took your mama, your sister, your daughter and had unlawful sex with them at will. So then the children that was born on that plantation, if Mr. Harris was the slave master, then all slaves took on Harris' name. But when white Harris laid with the black woman and a child came forth, the child was mixed blood. I want you to follow me. Black and white, mixed blood. This went on for years and years. Now to the purple gang. Which one of you black men is pure black?
You got your mic muted, huh?
Shalaki out the water, brother. He said to the perfect game, man. Which one of you brothers are pure black, man? Right? And so, and this is how we know that we have been colluded to think that we all got white blood in us. What do y'all think about it? Do y'all think we all got white blood in us?
Well, you know, that can go into some speculating. I know that's not good for business. As a slave master, you don't want your slaves mixing. You want the strongest to mate with the strongest, so they can be out there in the field. Now it happened. Come on, man, that flesh, it happened. We can't get around that. But and living how we indoctrinated today, man. We got some heavy indoctrination on ourselves. Not even just in slavery, but some of our grandparents, parents, or whatever. But I think this is just a tactic to, this is like somebody saying, so you don't sin. Which one of you, you telling me to keep the laws? All right, but what you keep all the laws? You keep 100 laws? It's the same tactic to try to discredit something. You know what I'm saying? So which one of you got full? So the Israelites black. Which one of y'all is just full black? It's kind of the same tactic. I don't think Gino really understands our doctrine. It understands Hebrew Israelism. I don't think he's looked into it with the way he's talking right now. I yield.
Yeah, Con, all praises, man. What about our brother Dion and brother Mike? What y'all think, bro?
Hey, so like it's just amazing. One thing he was right about when he said, if the master was Baptist or Jehovah Witness or holiness or whatever, that's what the slave was. Just like we got their last name. It's funny that he say that, because you look at his page, man, Gino Jennings. It said he's an American religious leader in oneness, Pentecostalism, but he say he's not. But he clearly states it right here. Best known as being the founder of the Fundamentally Holiness First Church of our Lord Jesus Christ in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So the hypocrisy of this cat, man, and the slander is crazy. Because it sounds like a lot of the stuff that he's saying about the brothers at IUIC, man, he's doing himself. And you got the nerve to compare these brothers to the Purple Gang, a Jewish organization back in Prohibition days, man. And
Right.
the Ku Klux Klan, like, come on, man. That's a fool comparison, Gino. But you know, this guy, man, I yield.
Good. What you got on it, brother Dion?
Well, I mean, you can look at his congregation and tell that he is speaking to an audience that you know um, he has to pick his words. He has to choose his words, and he can't slip up. He got to stay on that same dialogue, that same monologue that he's been saying. If he slip up, they're gonna see a sign of weakness or a crack in his doctrine, and he can lose some parishioners. So that plays a part in it too. But yeah, he is very aware of what he's doing, and he does not know the doctrine that we teach. So I'm not sure what his motive is, but it has something to do with money. But I yield.
Yeah, kind. Interesting. Brother Phineas said something earlier about business, right? And so I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read this from Wikipedia, and they call slave breeding in the United States, right? So it says slave breeding in the United States was a practice in slave states of the United States of slave owners to systematically force the reproduction of enslaved people to increase their profit. It includes coerced sexual relations between enslaved men and women or girls, forced pregnancies of enslaved women, and favoring women's or young girls who could produce a relatively large number of children. The objective was to increase the number of slaves without incurring the cost of purchase and to fill labor shortage caused by the abolitions of electric slave trade. So that's what Brother Finney was just talking about, man. It wasn't good for business, man. You had these huge slave breeding farms going on all over the country. All over the country. Black men sleeping with black women. All the black women was not raped. All black people don't have white blood in them, man. That's an idiotic thing to say without actually having the actual facts on how many black women was raped. Right? So that's idiotic to say, man. And so we're going to go into the scripture as a show that Israel always dealt with these other nations, man. That's nothing new. Right? How long we was in slavery in Egypt, man? 430 years?
Right, kind.
Right? 430 years you think we wasn't dealing with the Egyptians? Right? Let's get what you say? Go ahead.
And other slaves.
And other slaves.
Yeah, we weren't the only ones slaves.
Exactly.
Other nations enslaved also.
Exactly.
Hey, so like y'all, I'm put some more on what you were just saying. This question say, did slave owners do selective breeding? Some scientists believe a combination of selective breeding by slave owners and appalling conditions meant that only the strongest slave endured, creating a group predisposed of record-breaking athletic performance. American slaves underwent a rigorous selection process, and only the fittest was transported on ships. So it's telling you right here, man, that the buck, like they used to call the biggest slave, they had him have sex with different women, breed the athlete that they say. So yeah, man, Gino need to do some homework.
Right, and that's why you see in a lot of those movies and depiction of the house Negro, a lot of them was no people say because you light skinned that you was in the house. No, that didn't have nothing to do with your skin tone. What it had to do with most of them people that was in the house was master's children. They belonged to the master. That's why they were so close in the house, man. It really was because there were light skinned people out in the fields too. That's a misnomer as well, right? You know, we call it the dark skinned brother field niggas and the light skinned brothers house niggas. No, but you had light skinned brothers out there in the field too, man. You know what I mean? But most of the like Brother Michael said earlier, that we come in all shades, man. Right? And because one brother light skinned and one brother dark skinned don't necessarily mean that the light skinned brother got Esau in him, man. That's a misnomer, man. Right? You know, even David was called ready, man. Go ahead. Somebody got something?
No, yes, like y'all. It just made me think about when we went to the Slave Museum in Alabama, and they had the big jars of dirt where my brother and sister were hung, and they got the dirt and put it in the jars. It was all shades of dirt on that wall, man. It was over like 400 jars.
Right.
Yep. And it just made me think of, once again, he created up from the dust of the ground, man. Right. And it was amazing to see that, all them different shades of that dirt.
Yeah, man. They know, man. They understand this way more than we do, right? And so, you know, a lot of this is crafty counsel. You know, like the brothers like Geno Jennings and stuff. A lot of that just crafty counsel, man. They use Israel to come at Israel, man. And so that's been going on for centuries, right? So let's get a couple of precepts, man. Let's get that in let's get Matthews 22 and 29. And let's start up there. Matthews 22 and 29.
Hey, Shalaki, man, why does Ethiopians, they all seem like they the same complexion, though? You know?
Say it again?
You ever notice how the Ethiopians all seem like they the same complexion?
Yeah, okay.
It's some dark ones, though. You can say that about You'll say that about some Latinos. You don't go over there.
Yeah.
Or if they don't show them. But they are some real dark ones that I've seen. But you right. You know, most of them, they almost look alike.
You racist, brother. Like you said, all Ethiopians look alike.
You can tell too. Like, hey, nah, brother, you Ethiopian, sir.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff got to do with regions as well, man. A lot of that stuff got to do with region, man. Because when you really understand it, like when the reason why they was always mistaken Israel for being Egypt, because we pretty much stay in the same region, and a lot of times the hotter the sun is, the darker you become, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of that stuff is regional. But like Brother said, man, you know. You start dealing with those Ethiopians, man, you will see this. They got some dark ones in there, man. You know what I mean? And it's just the world that we come across. And it's just like, even like the Hispanics, you know, it's some real dark-skinned Hispanics, man. Dark-skinned Mexicans, black Mexicans, man. But we don't experience them a lot. But by me being from Miami, I've experienced, man. You saw it. I think it's just the ones that we come across. But yeah, they got some Ethiopians. Nissy Hustle, one Ethiopian.
Khan.
Yeah. So all praises, man.
I just know when I go into J&J's Fish, they all look alike. They all the same color. They all look alike. Every single one of them. But
might be family. What is it?
What you call?
I said it might
Matthew
be
22.
Yeah. Matthew 22 and verse 29.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 29. The Messiah answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God.
Yeah, Shalakia. So that's all I want out the water. So just like the disciple was asking these Pharisees about this woman had many husbands, man. And so that's the same thing with Geno. He erred not knowing the scriptures, man, nor the power of God, right? Because we got to understand who create life, right? Who create life? Do a man create life? You know, you might sleep with a woman. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, brothers. You know, we all, for those who are married, we know before we got married, you know, you be with other women's and you sleep with other women's and they never get pregnant, right? And we all done had that, right? Now, some with women's that never got pregnant, right? But then all of a sudden, somebody get pregnant, right? How that happens? If we create life, should everybody we sleep with be pregnant? Or every time you sleep with your wife, should she come up pregnant? Right? If we created life. But who create life? The Most High God create life. Right? So give me that in Deuteronomy 32 and 39.
Shalakia,
Go
I
ahead.
got a little point with that for you.
Come.
I seen that Joe Rogan say that you got a better chance at winning the Mega Million 7 times than, you know, a child being born. Like you know, from how many seeds go, you know what I'm saying, go inside of
Right.
that woman, and you know, and then that one miraculous seed get into that egg. So it's, you know, we don't think about that. We just born, but the odds is just like 4 trillion to 1 that one of those seeds get in there and impregnate that egg.
Yeah, kind of. You know, and I don't mean to get too graphic, but when a man at his peak, right? You know how many eggs get released? Not eggs, but cells get released at his peak. It ain't just one. It be what was it? Say it
It's a
again.
rat race, huh? It's a rat race. Hey man, it's all they spring, man.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm talking
man.
about thousands, 100,000s, and millions
Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah.
that's moving. And so that's what he was saying about that 1,000,000 to 1 odds, man, about a woman getting pregnant. That one target practice hit the bullseye, bro. You know what I mean? So when we understand that that's just how immaculate how the Most High is, man. He choose life. We don't, right? We don't choose life. The Most High choose life, because if that be the case, we'll have 1,000,000 children. We'll have 1,000,000 that's running around here, man. Can you imagine what your child support bill will be looking like, man? You'll be right here. You'll be walking out here with your pants hanging out, man. You get no sleep. Gotta work 5 or 4 jobs, man. You know, like hustle man. So let me get that real quick, man. Deuteronomy 32 and 39, man.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 39.
Okay.
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver you out of my hand.
So the Most High said that it's I, even I am he, and there is no other God with me, man. He said, I kill and I make alive, man. So when we sit around and I got a sister who just lost a person, a good friend of the family, man. Her friend that she grew up with, brother, just died, man, and you know, our condolences go out, man. But you know, we try to at these funerals, we be saying like, you know, well, you know, he in heaven smiling down. We be saying that, you know, the devil did it, man. You know, but the Most High say he the one, man. He the one create life. He the one take it, man. All right, he the one take life. He the one create life. So that 1,000,000 to 1 odds, it show you how good that it is a higher power, man. That we don't do this in our own hands. So just like, you know, Jesus said we was raped, our women was raped during slavery. Those was the one that had the baby was all the Most High plan, man. That was the Most High plan. He did that, man. Right? The one that was reserved for the Most High, he did that. He reserved a nation for him, just like he did in Egypt, man. So let's get that story in Egypt, man. Let's get that in Before I get there, give me Jeremiah 16 and 19. Let me make this point real quick. Jeremiah 16 and start at verse 9. Start at verse 9.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 9. But thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes, and in your days, the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show these people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God? Then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. And ye have done worse than your fathers, for, behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not that they may not hearken unto me. Therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and ye shall serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor.
Go ahead.
Therefore behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
Con, the water, brother. So here it is that we seen that there's some separate was going on in Egypt. And he said, look, man, I'll no longer be known that the Lord brought the children of Israel out of Egypt. That's not going to be my claim to fame, man. My claim to fame is I'm gonna bring these people, the children of Israel, out of the land of the north and out of all the countries that I scattered them. So first of all, when he said this evil came upon us, so what stuff was happening to slavery, that was all on the Most High, man. That was his doing because Israel refused to keep God's commandments. And second of all, who are these people that's coming out of these lands? That was driven, right? That was scattered in all these countries. And when did they get back into the land of Israel? When was this great migration happen that the children of Israel was scattered, that was brought in from all these four corners of the earth and came back into the land of Israel? When did that happen? Right? If color don't matter, if the children, because really what you're saying that the children of Israel don't really matter right now. The church is these people. So if that be the case, then you have to show me when Israel came back into that land from a great migration, and not that 1948 Balfour Agreement, but because we know, man, them folks don't fit the prophecies. You know what I mean? If anybody disagree, man, bring forth a strong reason. But from my liking, they don't fit the prophecies. So we see that this gonna happen, right? So let's get that in Leviticus 24:10, where you also see Israel dealing with the Egyptian the same way. We was there for 430 years, man. So let's get that in Leviticus 24 verse 10 and watch Israel doing the same thing.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 24, verse 10.
Okay.
And the son of an Ishmaelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel. And this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strode together in the camp. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses. And his mother's name was Shelemith, the daughter of Deborah, and the tribe of Dan. And they put him inward, that the mind of the Lord might be showed them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, bring forth him that have cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curseth his Lord shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemed the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death. And all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well the stranger as he that is born in the land. When he blasphemed the name of the Lord, shall be put to death. Keep going.
Yeah, kind of the water. So that's it, the water, brother. So when you see that, we see that why was she called an Israelitish woman, man? Right? An Israelitish woman, and his father was a what? An Egyptian. All right. So we see the story of our sister. That's why she was called an Israelitish woman, because she was, and that's why the scripture highlight that she was from the nation of Israel. She was her mother name was Shelemith, and the daughter of Debri of the tribe of Dan, man. So she was Israel, right? But she was dealing with the Egyptian, and her son was blaspheming, man. He was cursing the Lord, man. And the Most High put him to death, right? So we see in the story where our people was dealing with the Egyptians the same way they dealing with Esau. The same exact way, right? And that's one of the reasons why the Most High was telling us not to deal with these nations, because why was that? Why was the son of the Egyptian cursing our God? What was his reason? I know it's a lot of like brothers speaking and say fluff, but what do you think? Why was he blaspheming our God, man? Right? For my liking, he didn't respect our God, man. He didn't. That wasn't his God. That's wasn't the God that he was brought up on, man. Right? And that's why the Bible tells you, we read Deuteronomy 7 early. He says, surely they're gonna turn your heart to what? Against me and go after other gods, man. So you see this Israelitish woman's son blaspheming our God, man. And what did God say? Put your hands on him, put him to death. And if anybody curse your God, you're gonna bear his iniquity, man. See the charge that the Most High put on Israel? You see anybody blaspheming your God, you're gonna bear his iniquity, man. What do y'all brothers think, man? The Israelitish woman dealing with the Egyptian, man. Is that similar to what's going on today in Israel? America?
Khan, again, like you called it, man, there's some fluff and some speculation on why he would be feeling that way. But the father gone. And he could have been part of that. Those firstborn being killed. His little brother, little sister could have woke up dead and found them dead. And so yeah, he young, he don't understand, the straight flesh. He can't hold back his temper, his anger. And so it could be, that could be something simple that could happen to any young child or any young teenager that just seen his father kill, or just seen his younger sibling kill. And then the mother, who's an Israelite, say, well, our God did it. And even though you say that, that child may not understand the ramification. They may not fully understand what you mean. Our God did that. I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's one of those issues that we dealing with this thing, and it ain't necessarily even got to be different nations. You can see that between someone dealing with a Christian and you trying to be, you're an Israelite and you trying to court a Christian, and her family having different, different aspects on, should you be dealing with this joker? He got a whole different philosophy dealing with the scriptures, and he's a Pharisee, he's heretical. Why you dealing with da 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 da? So it's it's still the same thing today, man. We still dabbling. They pushing it. They indoctrinating us to push these certain things, and I yield on that point.
Yeah, great point, man. And yeah, that's dealing with somebody even in another doctrine, man. And you can and I think I was talking to a sister today, man, and she ran into a brother, and her brother was like, "Shalom, sister," and then she was like, "Oh, shalom, brother. Yeah, you Israel? No, my brother, he follow, he an Israelite." And I think they still don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand what we teach. Like, being Israel is not a religion, man. From the sense, right? Does it pertains to some practice of religion? Yeah, kind. But as a nation, we are not a religion. It's a nationality. It's a bloodline. It's a lineage where we come from, who we are, who the Most High created us to be. Right? So that have nothing to do with religion itself, even though the Bible talk about pure religion, but that was outside of just Israel as a whole. Even Christians got to understand what I mean, not Christians, but heathens got to understand what pure religion is to be able to partake in the bread of Israel, man. What do y'all brothers think, man? Y'all think that's a similarity of the Egyptian, the Jewish, the Israelitish woman dealing with the Egyptian? That's similar to what we're going through today.
Brother Phoenix really he sold it up, man. He knelt it down with what he brought out before as someone being angry, you know, and cursing, being honest, we see it, man. We see that all the time. Some don't go right in people's life, man. People might lose someone that they love and they go off, man. Instead of moving closer to the Most High, they move away, with their anger. So I yield on that.
Okay. Brother Dion, you got something on it?
Nah, they covered it, bro.
All praises.
Shalak, let me make
Go
one
ahead.
more point if you don't mind, Baba Shah. That movie, Signs. I don't know if y'all seen that movie Signs with Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
Was it Mel Gibson?
Yeah, Mel
Who was
Gibson,
it? Yeah. And he blamed God for killing his wife.
Wife. Yeah,
And left the ministry, man. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if he cursed God, but he pretty much wasn't dealing with with the Lord anymore.
Yeah,
So that death, yeah, man. But yeah, you can't do it. You can't do. You can't do it. He's end up getting stoned, man. But yeah, I yield.
Yeah, man, and that's what a lot of people were moving into these other religions, man, because they feeling that God have let them down, man, right? And so we got to really break all that, break all that monotony down out of people's minds of who God is, because what we was taught who God is not according to the text, right? So I'm gonna go into one more video, man, and I'm gonna go ahead and yield. We already an hour in. I'm gonna go into one more video. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna go into one more video. I think this video is pointed because of what they going in, man. Let me see right quick. Share my screen real quick. Shalakia.
Megyn Kelly brought Jesus into her infamous Santa meltdown. I mean,
Jesus was a white man too, but it's like
slow roll. From what I can remember of my initial days, the Bible stories take place in what is now called the Middle East. An associate professor of constructed theology and African American religion at Princeton, to help me figure out where I should begin. How was Jesus described in the Bible?
We really don't see any depiction sort of phenotypically of what Jesus looks like in the biblical text. And that was intentional. I think that it's important to note that in
Shalakia is brother. Give me that Revelation 1 and verse 13 and 14 and 15. And brother Dion, give me that in Daniel's 10. Daniel's 10 and 4, I think it is. And so she said that you really doesn't see a depiction of Christ in the scriptures. What do y'all think about that? Do we see we first time how the brothers read it, and then we gonna see is this actually a depiction of Christ or is it something else? So give me that in Revelation 1 and verse 13 and 14 and 15.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks.
Hey Shalaki, brother, you don't went low, brother.
Say it again, huh?
You don't went low. Say something.
Hey, Bill,
Nah, you still low, brother.
Yeah, you low.
you'll get that from the brother.
All right, brother Dion, can you pull that up for the brother?
It's the book of Revelation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, okay. You got
It's
a
the
better
book of
Phineas?
Revelation.
Okay, go ahead, brother Dion.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 13. And in
Okay.
the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
Okay. So, okay, let's get that in Daniel's 10 and 5. Brother Mike, you back on deck, brother?
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, all
Now,
praises. Okay.
Uh,
So let's get
That
that in
was
Daniel's 10 and start at verse 5.
it's the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body was also like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in the color of polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
Okay. And then Revelation said his voice of its word was as the sound of many waters. So it's the same depiction in Revelation 1 and verse 13 and 14 as you see in Daniel's 10, 5 through 6. So what do y'all think, man? Is that an accurate, I mean not an accurate, but is that a depiction of Christ or that spiritual? What do y'all brothers think about that?
I think it's both. I think it's a depiction, and I think it has some spiritual aspects to it also. You know, with the eyes, flame of fire. You know, if you taking that literal, as his eyes were flames of fire, um, I could see that being something spiritual, but um, it's letting you know what color his skin is. Um, and throughout the text, that's how it describes. Like you went to the Daniel also. His skin, his feet, being the color of brass. But somebody would have to break that down, and even if you break it down, it's still like you have to break it down. You just can't say it. Like you just can't tell me that the fire means judgment, or that the white mean pure, that the white hair mean purity. White does mean purity. Yeah, I got a couple precepts for that, but
Okay.
as far as the woolly hair, like what is the woolly hair? What is that symbolic for if you're gonna take it on a spiritual aspect? What does the bronze feet mean? We have to see that, but you see that in Daniel with the with that statue with the but again you'll nobody's done that, so
Right.
you gotta take it as what it's saying, because I've never seen nobody break that down no other way. You can say it's spiritual, and I might can ride with you on that, but you gotta give me you gotta give me your exegesis. You gotta show me your methodology on pulling and making all of these things, all of these descriptions. Like even it got on two different garments. Um, so you have to make these things. You have to make all these things. Why is it a green garment? Why is it a why is it the color of ephaz and the gold like you know what I'm saying? You'll have to break all of that down if you're gonna take that spiritual stance. But I can see you doing it, but I've never seen nobody fully break that down like that. I don't know if I agree with the his eyes are fire because he drunk the wine. Uh, I don't know if I agree with that precept, but I can I take it as it is what it's saying it is, man. That it's giving a description of what John's seen, or whoever the writer is.
Yeah, kind. And I agree with you with the eyes too, man. And I'm gonna pull the precept. I'm gonna pull the precept as well. Before we go to other brothers, I agree with you. I don't think that his eyes being red with wine doesn't literally mean. You just went into the breakdown on Wednesday about that wine, right? The wine, and so when you and they say, well, what was his first miracle? Christ drunk wine. Yeah, I don't really agree with that understanding, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is the book of Genesis 49, and I'm gonna start at verse. And I'm gonna start at verse. Let's see. I'm gonna start at verse. Is it 12? Yep, verse 12. It says, "His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk." So it said that his eyes gonna be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. So what? His teeth were white with milk because he drunk milk. All
Shalaki,
right,
what was that verse again?
that's Genesis 49 and verse 12.
Okay.
Right, so it says that his eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. And so we understand that milk has different connotations to it. But I'm gonna give. Remember, Paul said that the simplicity that is in Christ. So I'm gonna get it out of Peter, man. That milk. 1 Peter 2, and start at verse 2, and it says, "As newborn babes desiring sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby." So that word can sometimes be representation as milk, and like you broke down, that wine can also can be wisdom. Wine is doctrine. You have different precept about that wine. So yeah, I don't agree that Christ was walking around here with red eyes because he drunk wine. Because you got to drink a lot of wine to get your eyes red, man. So that'll make him a glutton. Yo, when Christ called a glutton, man, he was calling, no, man. The Bible said don't have no fellowship with a glutton. You know what I mean? So that's what that. So yeah, man. So I don't think that his eye was red with wine, because he was around here drinking wine. What do y'all
Hey,
brothers think?
so
Go ahead.
I want to touch on that and back to that color.
Go ahead.
We've been touching on the wine, the red eyes. This Matthew's chapter 11 and 19, 18
Right.
through 19. It said, "For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he hath a devil.
Mhm.
The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, Behold, a man gluttonous and a wine bibber, a
Mhm.
friend of publicans and sinners, but wisdom is justified of her children." Now, why would it say Christ was a wine bibber? That's someone who drunk wine, correct?
Well, that's what they accuse him. But a lot of times they accuse Apostle Paul for either being quite mad or thinking that he's drunk. You know what I mean? Because some of the doctrine that they was hearing was not necessarily something they heard before. So, but
Mm.
it said that John came neither eating nor drinking. So what? John wasn't eating food. You know what I mean? And see,
Yeah.
that's what we got to. You see what I'm saying? It say John didn't come eating or drinking, but Christ came doing both. So I got to look into that precept a little more deep. I done heard it before, but yeah, but it said that. But let me show you something real quick. Watch this. Hold on, let me show you something real quick. Let me get this precept. Shit.
Shalaki, there's a script that says his eyes was red with wine, though.
Yeah, that's Hold on. Okay, hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. I'll get to that. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Hold on for a second. I'm gonna get this precept. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one we just read, man. About his eye was red with wine. But like I said, I think his parable is more symbolic than literally that his eye. Because remember, he was in the spirit. He wasn't in the flesh at this time. So he was in the spirit. Remember, John said that he seen the spirit once like the Son of Man. So he wasn't flesh at this time. He was spiritual. So what we saying? Christ up there in heaven, getting drunk, drinking wine. So this all symbolic. Hold on, let me say. Hold on. Let me get it real quick. Let me get that in Proverbs. I think it's 23 and verse 20. Is that it? Let me see. I want to show y'all something. I want to get y'all opinion on that. And like I said, it's all subjective. I just think that it's more symbolic than anything. But let me get this precept real quick. This is the book. This is the book of Proverbs 23 and verse 20. It says, "Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh." So the Bible says, "Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh." So you think that Christ was actually a winebibber when the Bible tell you not to be among winebibbers? Right? You think that Christ was actually a winebibber when the Bible tell you be not among winebibbers? So that was something they called Christ. That was not something he was actually. Right? So I think it's all subjective. But what do y'all brothers think about that precept?
I understand what you're saying. For as I just brought that out because that was a precept that people always run across. John didn't eat anything. Christ came eating up everything and drinking everything, get his hand on. So I understand that. And right here you say, well, the scripture says, "Be not among wine bibbers, among rioters, eaters of flesh." So, hey man, yeah.
Yeah, Karen. You ever say, Brother Phineas? Can I say something?
Yeah, I just more on the this is we know being gluttonous and being a wine bibber is a sin. Um and like when we're reading this in Matthew 11:19, it says the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, "Behold, a man gluttonous and a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of her children." This reputation came on because he is hanging with sinners. He's hanging with public. He's hanging with the low of the low, the despised. And so with him hanging with these individuals, they ranked him among them. He must be a wine bibber and gluttonous also. He gave him this reputation because somebody of a higher stature, Pharisees, you couldn't touch them. They wouldn't let you touch them when they went to certain parties and so forth. If you got a Pharisee at your party, you want to up and up. You're in the higher class. And so when they see the Messiah hanging around these individuals, it's just like, man, if you see me sitting around a bunch of crackheads, and I'm sitting down, and I'm sitting down, and jokers is around me smoking crack and drinking Bud Ice, and I'm sitting down there among them just talking, you gonna think that I smoke crack also. And that, not that I'm ministering to them, but you gonna have the reputation. You gonna look at me and say, you know what, man, that joker there, Phoenix done went out bad, man. I've seen that joker out there. Seen that joke on camera. Seen that joke at the West End, sitting down smoking crack with these joker, man, with a well-known crackhead, man. You know Petey round for that, yeah. But it's more of that. It's more of that that aspect of him having a reputation because of who the individuals that he's hanging with. But we can do something a little further on it, and speak on it.
Hey, Salakia, yeah, I just wanted to put some more pressure on that color thing, man. I want to bring out Revelations. Get the turkey back on what you were talking about.
Kind of bring it up.
It's Revelation chapter 4, starting at verse 2. And it said, and immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne, and he that was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, and the sight like unto an emerald. Now, when you Google sardine stone or jasper stone, they basically the same color. All of them are brown. Got some on different color, but I didn't see one that's white. I'm just saying, man. But yeah, all of them are different color, but the majority are brown. Yeah,
and all praises, man. Brother Dion, you got some of that, man? I'm gonna keep going in the video. I'm almost done. Kind of all praises.
In the early Christian communities, there was actually an avoidance of putting images of Jesus. In general, images of God were seen as idolatry.
But we do know that in the Bible, Jesus' feet are compared to burnished bronze.
However you fall on what Revelation means, we already have clues. The first clue is that he was a Jewish man. They were nomadic people. Part of the misnomer is that a Jew is a Jew that phenotypically looks like a European Jew. And we tend to sort of ascribe that to the way Jesus looked and who Jesus was. But instead, what I'm suggesting is that you had all of these diverse diasporas, many of them that were Afro-Asiatic, that in many ways then helps us to reflect on Jesus in our contemporary language as a person of color.
So, Jesus might not be a white dude?
So in other words, Jesus was black, man. But all that fancy talk, she said that Jesus was black, man. I'm gonna keep going. Shalakia.
A touchy subject, a hotly contested debate. Scholars, lay people, no one seems to agree with all this Jesus speaking parables.
What was that in that cross, man?
In that cross, let's see. Let me go back to it. Let's see.
I do. This is a touchy subject. A hot.
No, it look like crack, brother.
some oxy pills and
scholars, lay people, no one seems to agree with.
So what you say?
It look like some oxy pills and some communion bread.
And they about to get it. They about to get to it, brother. Soon as church is over, bro, they finna get to it.
All this Jesus speaking parables, I found myself having a tough time. So I called on someone who was called on by the Lord. Gary V. Simpson is the head pastor of the Concord Baptist Church of Christ. He's also an associate professor of homiletics.
When you want to sound important, just saying, I'm the preaching professor, you say,
That got that word, hermeneutics, brother. Here you go, brother. Here you go.
I teach homiletics.
Simpson was the son of a preacher, but coming up, he was pretty clear on what he believed.
Look at the black images.
I never really got caught up in the kind of dominant whiteness of Christ. I know that there were depictions of the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus in places because those were the people who were publishing the materials that we were reading in our local Sunday schools.
Can you just elaborate a bit on that, how we sort of came to have this widely accepted depiction?
I don't know how widely accepted it is. I think it is Westernly accepted. When we read the Bible and the expansion of Christianity, we're actually talking about its Western movement.
Y'all know.
Shalaki, what do he mean by Western movement, man? When he said, I don't know about widely accepted, but it's Westernly accepted. What was he talking about that, man? What he saying?
I'm saying here in America.
Here in Babylon, man.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's accepted in Babylon. And you see that a lot of times, like Brother Michael brought out early, I think Brother Dion as well, was going into how they have such a problem of Christ being black, but we never had a problem of the white image. Why is that? Like we have this almost diabolical hatred towards and you know Jenny said your filthy black skin, man. Like
evil.
Did you hear him say that, man? He like what he said about the white, like he tore down the white image. Yeah, Jesus wasn't there. But did he call the white image filthy, dirty? Did he say that about the white image, man?
Nope.
And he said it in front of a bunch of black people. And they sitting there, preach, right? They sitting there clapping while he I understand that our filthiness is it's like our righteousness is filthy to the Most High, but that's our righteousness is filthy to Him, not our skin. Our skin have nothing to do with being filthy in front of God, man. So he feel comfortable of telling black people that their skin is filthy. Come on, man. And we so brainwashed that we clapping while another brother that looks like us calling our skin filthy.
Wow.
Right? You can't make this stuff up. I'm almost done.
Know what he's talking about. That saying, to the victor goes the spoils. Let's go all the way back to the 4th century. Here's how it went down. Constantine, an emperor in ancient Rome, converted to Christianity. Later, it was legalized and became the official religion of the Roman Empire.
Hallelujah.
Christians were no longer persecuted. This changed the entire game. As the Roman Empire expanded, so did its ideologies and cultures. And of course, the dominating representation of a European white Jesus.
From those moments on, expansion of this idea, we even talk about classical music or classic periods of art. We're really talking about Western periods.
And Western like white.
And Western like white, yeah.
But the earliest paintings of Jesus popped up around the 3rd century CE. This is a couple of centuries after Jesus lived. So I hit up an art scholar who could take us back in time. This is Dr. Pamela Patton. She's the director of the Index of Medieval Art at Princeton University. So how did those illustrations look? Can you describe them for us?
A lot of them, especially the very, very early ones, were quite subtle. And this is because they emerged when Christianity was still not officially legal in the Roman Empire.
So initially, since Christianity wasn't legal, artists had to be discreet with their work. Fast forward to the 4th and 5th century, Christianity became the official Roman religion. Remember that whole spiel about Constantine?
That's when you begin to see more imperial, royal images of Christ. You see, enthroned figures. You see the sort of bearded philosopher type being brought in. So in early Christian images, we're talking about images that are made in the Mediterranean and the old Roman Empire. The people in charge there, the consumers and makers of images, are largely white people, white Mediterranean people. Later on, I think that color begins to acquire a kind of more self-conscious symbolic weight in a lot of images, and particularly by the middle of the Middle Ages, you start to see dark skin and light skin really becoming freighted with meanings.
So what did these colors mean?
As you follow the texts and eventually the images into the later Middle Ages, you see that people begin to use color visually as well as a metaphor for sinfulness or purity, and sometimes as a metaphor for sort of evil versus good. Later on, you also start to see color associated with foreignness and difference.
How have the expectations of portraits evolved from then to now?
I think it's important to recognize that the expectations people had of portraiture in the era when images of Jesus were developing are very different from the expectations we bring to portraiture today. When images of Jesus developed, first of all, they didn't have much idea what he looked like, and second, it wasn't as big a concern as creating.
So I'm fast forward a little bit.
It's not neutral, and it's not neutral because it has been
white supremacy.
White Jesus is so much more than an icon. It's not neutral. And it's not neutral because it has been proliferated and it's expanded in terms of its presence over centuries. And it has been largely tied to what we call an imperial project, the agenda of a nation state. So when we think about sort of racial apartheid in the United States, which continues, we see that racial apartheid can be sustained using the white supremacist logic that flows from white Jesus. So I see the white savior mythology as serving the interest of white power and white supremacy. And I think that the gospel of Jesus has nothing to do with that.
There are some real world implications to this theory.
Okay, Shalaki. Now y'all noticed that she said that, but she got that cross and a Christmas tree right behind.
Yeah, I was about to say that, man. It's a big old Christmas tree back there. Talking about
yeah, so you see different point of views about the white images. I'm already an hour and 42 minutes in. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit on this perspective of black images and white images, and how that it how it makes up our point of view on one another. Do y'all believe? And I'm gonna yield with this last question. Do y'all believe that if because we teach this, if black kids and black kids and black adults was raised up from the ideal of Christ being black, he looked like them, would that have changed anything in our society?
Cunt. In the words of G Money from New Jack City, man, we was in there smoking, most definitely. Most definitely, man. So yeah, man, I think it will make a big impact, cause like we all know, we don't look at each other as gods, man. Brother and sister. It's like the roles have been reversed. We look at the other nations the way we should be looking at our brothers and sisters, man. So those roles have definitely been reversed, man. But yeah, that would have made a big difference, man. I think so. I yield.
Okay. What about your other brothers, man? Y'all think about us knowing that that Christ is black, the angels are black, Yahweh Shah is black, would that have changed our mindset, our ideology? Would we want to serve the Most High even more if we knew he looked like us?
I don't think so. Not in captivity. Usually when we in captivity, we gonna serve whatever God our master serving.
Mm.
We want to do what they do, and that's why we in captivity. We in captivity, man. Because even when them Joes was walking around, man, even when we knew, you know, and we walking around in that time, man, we wasn't following, you know, we followed the gods of those who oppressed us, man. And if we was in the land and it's us, and you know, and we had, yeah, man, you know, we would be, you know, we'll have a little nation pride with that. But you know, under captivity, you know, that's why they fight so much against it now. They know it. You seen everybody you done put on the screen, they knew it.
Yeah.
But you know, that sister from Princeton she probably ain't even a Christian. The other
Right.
sister probably ain't a Christian either. And got the, you know, I can speculate. I'm just speculating. You know, but you know, a lot of those intellects, man. That's why, you know, that precept about, you know, not many wise will come to the Lord, man, will serve the Lord. You know, sometimes you know, you get too smart, man. You get in those books and you know, get indoctrinated. But you know, the kids love Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Jokers know that thing is pagan, but the kids love Christmas, man.
Right.
See all the white kids doing it. We looked in the window and seen our master putting the tree up and giving out presents. Then the master was giving us, you know, gave us some cornbread, man, and some watermelons and you know, let her get the thighs, man, and you know, and some ribs for us to cook, man. So yeah, I don't know, man. You know, I don't, you know, that's, you know, this opinion. I think we going to, this history has showed, man, that that statement Creflo said, man, I know it's disgusting, but man, these folk want a white Jesus, man. These folk today want a white Jesus because of our indoctrination. Just like little girls want a white doll. That doll test. Under this captivity, man, we hate black, man. We don't want nothing black. What I heard a joker say that, man. I heard a great writer, man. I used to be in all this Black Power. You know, I done read all these books. I forget what his joker name was, man. But he said it, man. He said, man, I don't want nothing black but my Cadillac.
O.J. Simpson?
Nah, it wasn't an OJ. It was this joker was like a
I mess with you.
this joker was like a Black Panther kind of, man. You know what, man? It was that Joker from the Black Medusa, the Black Medusa, who started the Black Madonna down there in Atlanta, man. That shot them sheriffs down there in the West End, and then you know he had this whole, but this was while he was in prison, you know, before his transition, and he raped one. That's how he ended up getting in jail. He said, yeah, man, I ain't want nothing black but my Cadillac. And, you know, a lot of these jokers, man, the book called Die Nigga Die.
I think I heard that book, man. I heard that book, man.
Nah, that might be the poem, but it's something like that. It's something like Die Nigga or something, yeah. But, yeah, man, that's brother, that was some Atlanta history there. But, yeah, man, Joker's drunk, man. We drunk off of that white skin, man. You know, our children want white dolls. They want white toys, man. That's all they see on the cartoons. That's, you know. But yeah, I yield, man.
And you know, you even hear I done seen certain girls say, you know, that I want my child to have the good hair. You know what I mean? And the cat eyes. You know what I mean? And so now we even look at ourselves of not having good hair, and you know, our skin, some of our skin tone have to be light or bright because it's the Western culture, something of Western culture. You know what I mean? Now you got brothers, dark skinned brothers. I'll start making that statement, but you know, it's still got a long ways to go. So yeah, I think, but see, I don't think it's just white people I think what Brother Phoenix said earlier is just a dominant culture. Because if Egypt, if we're still in Egypt, we walk around here with big nose, and we walk. You know how they get in the small nose. People be around here trying to put extra meat on their nose, man. You know what I mean? Just trying to look like an Egyptian and try to get dark skin that sit in the darn sun and try to be. I'm talking about the Egyptian of Antigua. I'm not talking about these new Egyptians. I'm talking about the ancient Egyptians, the dark skinned Egyptians. You know, people be like they'll be like Kim Kardashian, man, trying to get darker, man. All right, what do you think, brother Mike and brother Dion?
I mean, they did a hell of a job on us, man, in slavery, and that's the whole programming and the indoctrination. Now you can't tell a person, you can't read it to them in the scripts and have them believe it. It's hard for them to believe it. You got the Jeffersons, you got the Serena Williams. She don't want to have a kid by a black person because she want to change her. She want to break the cycle. So now she got to eat my baby. She don't even know it. But they did a hell of a job on us, man, and a lot of us are still got them blinders on. They don't see outside of that. They just see what they've been given. So it's hard for them to comprehend the truth. And
that's interesting that you said that, because Serena Williams her father was a very strong black man, right? And to come from that and to see the struggles that he had to endure to put that all aside is interesting, man. What do you think, brother Michael?
Well, I don't really have nothing to say, on that topic. But just going back, well, I'm gonna say this about what Brother Feeney was saying for it. Is it knowing that Christ was black beforehand, what that had helped? Come to think about it, bro, the people seen the color of Christ back then, and we debate about it now. But these people actually seen Christ, man. They seen he was a black man. They seen it. They knew. A lot of them knew he was the Messiah.
Right.
And some of them didn't believe. But in other words, they seen he was a black man, man. And then it didn't matter then. They still had them over. You dig? So yeah.
Yeah, can. And see, that's what Bring It Out TV and also Prince of Power Israelites on YouTube. That's what we here. We are here to spread the gospel, but in truth, right? Like that's y'all. Anybody ever seen that movie Be Cool, man? Anybody ever seen the movie Be Cool?
Heard of
it? Yeah, it was a part on there when the Russian the Russian that was in the pawn shop. He said no more, no, not the pawn shop, but he was in the office, and he was like, no more lies, no more. You read the bats, you know what I mean? And so that's what it is. We tired of the lies, man. We want to serve our God in spirit and in truth, right? And we need to dispel all the lies, right? So, Brother Phineas, you got anything before we end it, brother? Any of the brothers?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say, man. Jokers don't even value they pit bulls unless he got the blue eyes. Unless he got, unless he got some blue eyes, some it's a blue nose. We got one of them blue nose exotic. You get a joker, just a brown dog with some brown eyes. I call it mutts. It ain't worth nothing, man. But that joker got some blue eyes, belly touching the ground, These jokers don't care, man. Dog can barely breathe, man. Can't, you know what I'm saying? Be dysfunctional because of the way they breeding it. You know, I know like them Merkles, them like they like some funny multicolored dogs. They
Good.
yeah, it's a mutation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Them dogs really don't live too long. And them French bulldogs. But
Yeah.
Them
anyway,
designer dogs, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we'd rather have the dysfunction because it got them pretty eyes, man.
Got the pretty eyes,
It's
man.
exotic, man. It's
Yeah,
exotic, man.
exotic.
So yeah, man.
One blue,
If
one
we that
brown.
way to that dog. But you know, like you was saying before, I didn't realize, you know, I ain't really if beforehand
Uh,
if they known, but like Mike came back and said, yeah, they did know. But
right.
yeah, beforehand, if we could have grabbed them before
hmm
the indoctrination, all this stuff they done did to us, yeah, it could have probably you know, gave us a better grip to hold on to this thing, man. It would have been a lot more beneficial and but you know, the thing they did to us, not just them, because they learned it from somewhere.
Right.
You know, and if you know, just is you know, Israel wicked, man. We were uncircumcising ourselves. You
Right.
know what I'm saying, to be like these folks. So we've been drunk a long time on, you know, these different nations. We want a king like the other nations.
That's right. That's right.
We don't want God to be our king. We
Right.
don't want Yahweh to be our king. We want a king like the other nations got a king, man. Give me a king like Esau, man. So yeah, I yield
Right.
with that point, man. A great lesson, great class, man. Great bill. Like I say, man, we ain't gonna always just see everything straight. And if you don't see everything straight, you know, we can always, you know, talk these things out, man. A lot of stuff opinionated, speculation questions. So you know, brothers, you know, who not on the panel, who just listening in, you know, don't be afraid to come up, man. Give your stance on some of these situations, man. We welcome the dialogue.
Yeah, kind of. That's what we trying to do, man. We trying to, you know, Israel is known as being monolithic, but we're not all monolithic. Yeah, we share certain ideologies, but there's we believe in let every man have his say so, and then let the Most High be true and every man a liar, man. And going back on that dog thing, man. Yeah, we discriminate even good when it comes to the dog, man. You have a dark dog, you call him Blackie. You have a brown skinned dog, you call him Brownie. we even discriminate when it comes to the dog, man. So, brother Dion, brother Michael, y'all got any last words, brothers?
No,
Yeah, just to close it out, like you said at the end of the day, man, it's just iron sharpening iron, man.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So I great lesson.
Yeah, man. All praises, man. Hey, brothers, I'm gonna talk. I want to talk to y'all brothers about the Mar camp, man. I'm gonna call y'all brothers after we get out the phone, man, so we can go about the Mars camp. But all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bashan, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah. That's how we pronounce the Most High name in the Paleo Hebrew. That just means God and His only begotten Son, who the world called Jesus Christ. Barakatah means peace. So all brothers and sisters that's listening, man, you know, y'all Shabbat Shalom for the brothers who celebrate their Shabbat from Saturday night to Sunday. I mean, from Friday night to Saturday night, sundown, and the brothers also who do it in the morning, man. Hey, Shabbat Shalom, man. The Most High willing, man. And before I forget, if you have not yet, like or subscribe to the Prince of Power Israelites on YouTube or Bring It Out TV or Maccabees Revolt. Like, subscribe, share. Share this content because this is the way we move the needle, right? We got to play this game, man. So share the contents. If y'all brothers know any other topics that y'all want to discuss, either on Prince of Power Israelites, Bring It Out TV, hey, man, let us know, man, because we here to have these dialogue. We're going to start having these other beliefs on, and we're going to be having a dialogue, and we just try to right now work out the kinks so we can work. You know, the Bible said when much life in you, live peaceful among all men. So we got to start having dialogue in a peaceful manner where people will not be scared to be get on with us and thinking that we're gonna just make them look bad. So yeah, man. So just be looking out for that, man. So if nothing else, man, y'all brothers have a good night. And all the Akims and Aquas on the four corners of the earth, Yahweh, Shini, Yahweh, Shah, Barakatham, and Shalom, family.
Hey, Shalom, family.